is happening, people? Welcome to Scarfey Spurs Talk. No, that's wrong. Welcome to Scarfey Talks Premier League. I'm used to saying that with the Spurs podcast. You know what? I can't get away from talking about Spurs at the minute. Excuse me. That's a great way to start. Not, but it should be a fantastic episode tonight to get the worst out of the way. Let's introduce the fantastic guests who hopefully can perform better than me tonight. Let's introduce some names. We've got a full house, pretty much. Ollie, you're a Bournemouth fan. Thank you so much for your time. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Not too bad at all. I'm looking forward to getting into the games today. I think there's a few important ones on the card, and it's another really important match week actually heading in onto the end at both sides of the table. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Should be good. Ollie, thank you so much. Cam, Tottenham fan, thank you very much. And well, I'm used to saying that, aren't I, on the Spurs podcast? I mean, help me up here. But I hope you're keeping well, though.
Yeah, glad to be back on, thank you. Of course, when we do finally win a game of football, I'm not on the show for the preview or for the
I know.
review.
Sorry.
Yeah, a shame. I was away, though, so I did have a reason for it. But yeah, I'm glad to be on, though, and hopefully we can get the win this weekend. But there is a lot of big games on, and hope things are positive for us.
Fingers crossed. Well, if I have you on before the end of the year, we need to end that bad luck. Do I take that risk or not? I've got relegation at stake. You're definitely allowed on. Let's, records there to be broken, aren't they? Particularly the bad ones. Cam, thank you very much. Arsenal fan, Matt. How you doing, Matt? You right?
Yeah, good. It's been a positive week, both, on the pitch, and, just in my life. But yeah, I'm good.
Good. That's great to hear, Matt. Thank you so much. And Fulham fan, Barney. Barney, it's great to have you back. It's been a few weeks away. Tell people where you're joining from. It's quite exciting.
It's great to be back, Harry, and thank you for inviting me onto the podcast. I'm tuning in from Estepona, southern Spain. So good to be sort of taking part in the podcast from here. Looking forward to talking about the games, big games at the top of the bottom of the Premier League, involving most of our sides. So let's get into it.
Absolutely. Let's get into it. Spot on there, Barney. Thank you very much. So, yeah, got a good representation of the Premier League tonight. Got a Bournemouth fan, Tottenham fan, Arsenal fan, and a Fulham fan. Let us know if you're listening, whether it be live or after, what club you support and how you feel about your club right now. Because I just feel you go across the Premier League, I think people are largely positive, but there's some teams having some real negative seasons as well. So let us know what you think, because ultimately everyone's going to have a different view. And to clear anything up, this is Scarfey Talks Premier League, and this is a game week 35 preview then. So let's get straight into it, because the first game is tonight, Friday, Leeds and Burnley. Matt, I come to you first. You said off air, this is not one that too many people are going to be tuning into. You're probably not wrong, but still for Leeds, do you feel like they get that win? They feel all but safe anyway, 6 points away from the drop, but that is just like 100% it now, isn't it, if they do get the win? So to contradict that a little bit, there is that, I suppose, it matters to Leeds, isn't it, in that sense?
Yeah, you've done me dirty here, because I didn't want to speak about this game much. Look, Leeds literally just need, at maximum, like 3 points, and they basically confirm safety. I think this is going to be a really boring game, personally. I think Leeds will not, smash Burnley, but I think that they'll comfortably win. It's not going to be a high-scoring game, but I just think with the form that Leeds are in and with the form that Burnley are in, I can only see this going one way with a team that's already, confirmed relegation, basically. What Burnley should be doing is sort of playing the team that will be playing next season in the Championship, and just sort of build from there in terms of their squad for next season. But if I'm honest, I think, Leeds are going to have a lot of possession in this game. I think they're going to have, a large amount of shots. Calvert-Lewin might get, a couple of goals. But I think this is going to be a comfortable Leeds win, personally.
Absolutely, Matt. I think a lot of people will agree with you on that. Thank you. Cam, of course, you're a Tottenham fan, and we're looking at all these games down the bottom, 6 points away from Leeds. Even if they fell apart, do you think that Tottenham have it in them to catch them? And do you look at this game and go, yeah, we want Leeds to drop as many points as possible just in case?
Yeah, I think from a Tottenham point of view, I think it would be very ideal for Leeds to drop points in this game. I think that they're definitely a far reach from us. I think we're more looking at Nottingham Forest and West Ham in terms of our relegation battle. I think Leeds have picked up enough points now, have put in enough performances to kind of show that they've got enough to stay up. I think if they win this game tonight, then it's all but done. I think it's done anyway. But I think if they just win tonight, then that's the cherry on top of the cake, isn't it? And I think we have to look more at West Ham because I think, in my personal opinion, I think Forest, they're still in it, but I do think that they've got enough to survive. And I do think it's pretty nice on West Ham. But yeah, I can't see a world where Leeds drop points. I think that if they are, it's going to be a draw. I can't see Burnley having enough power to win this game. I think, as Matt was saying as well, I think I'm leaning more towards like a narrow Leeds win. I know they're at home. I know that they've been great at home, but yeah, I can't see Burnley getting anything from this game, and I think Leeds will win comfortably, but I don't think they'll batter Burnley, even if they are relegated already.
Cam, thank you. Barney, I'd also argue that there is just something to play for, just a tiny thing in terms of a Burnley. Like, we're talking 19th or 20th. I think for Burnley's case, to be the second team relegated, but to finish 20th would not be a very good look. You know, I know Scott Parker is now departed. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about that. Scott Parker, of course, because he was manager of Fulham, and also Burnley season as a whole, if you want to dive into that.
Absolutely. Well, for starters, Scott Parker, unfortunately for him, credit to him for what he did for us, for what he did for Burnley, taking them up. But there's this part of me that to be a Premier League manager, you need that finesse, that tactical awareness, adaptability, change formation, during games. Stubbornness comes into it as well. He's a good Championship manager. Yes, absolutely. I'll tell that to anyone. But in my opinion, I don't think he's got quite the finesse to be a Premier League manager. But going back to Burnley, there's always something to play for in football. I don't believe that for a second. Every game is competitive. Every team will want to win, whether you're going for the playoffs, titles, promotions, relegations. You're on that pitch. You're going to fight for each other for every ball, every tackle. That's the minimum. If I was a manager, what I'd expect. I don't see many goals in this game, personally. I think there's going to be one in it. Leeds, I think the safety mark's about 47 points currently. So as the guys alluded to, I think 3 or 4 points will make them safe. I think they are now, to be honest. Burnley will want to have that momentum going into the Championship next season, to sort of, end this season well, give the new manager a chance to see what he's got and start well next season. They'll have new players. Obviously, it'll be very different. But yeah, I'm fancying Leeds. A very narrow win in this one.
Okay, Barney, thank you very much. Ollie, not too much to talk about extra about this game, so I'll give you the next one if that's okay. Brentford against West Ham. Big game, really, isn't it? I mean, Brentford turned a little bit sour for them, and I'm talking about results, a few draws that they lost last time out at Old Trafford, but they're still fighting for Europe, and West Ham, of course, fighting for survival. Ollie's had to drop that out, so I'll redistribute that question to you, Cam.
Yeah, wait, say that again, sorry, because I was listening to something, sorry.
It's all right, no worries. I was saying your thoughts on this game, and just it's a game of importance, isn't it, for both teams? Of course, West Ham more with Premier League survival on the line, but Brentford still, we're talking latter European places.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that impacts both sides of the table. I think it's definitely a game that has a lot of influence for both sides as well. I think if West Ham can get a win here, that's crucial in their relegation battle, whilst if Brentford win, they've been struggling a lot in terms of trying to get a win recently. They've been great. I think they've got 4 draws in their last 5, particularly at home as well. They've not been as good as they were early on in the season for sure. So, yeah, I think both sides definitely need a win here, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens because I think West Ham definitely have it in them to get a win here, whilst I think Brentford, they need kind of that encouragement to get a win on the board and fight for European places because they are very much within it right now. And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens because I think it's gonna be a really close game. I can't see a side winning it by more than, I'm gonna say, 2 goals. I think it will be either a draw or a narrow win to either side. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But I do think West Ham have it and could definitely get a win here. But I'm gonna save that, of course, for the end as well. But I think it will be an interesting game.
Cam, thank you very much. You're right to say that. So how we're going to do that, we're trying something different tonight. I should have said the score predictions for every game comes at the end where I just do quick fire, which makes it difficult. You have to think, hang on, what did I actually say for that game? And it gives you an opportunity, though, to be fair, to also change your mind. So we'll do that every game at the end. So do stay tuned for that. Ollie, I believe we have you back. If we do, London derby this weekend, Brentford against West Ham at the G-Tech. Keith Andrews coming up against West Ham. how do you view this one? Who do you fancy more in this game?
Yeah, so I'm seeing Brentford. I'm seeing Brentford recently as a team quite out of form, and they don't look like they have what they had kind of in the middle of the season. And they're going back to what they were at the start of the season, where they're struggling to score a lot of goals. They're not finishing their chances very well. They're looking a bit leaky defensively. There's a few issues that are going on recently for Brentford, and they haven't been in the place that they want to be. And I'm not sure whether that continues to the end of the season or they get back into form. On the flip side, I'm seeing West Ham looking like a really threatening team. They pack a punch. They surprise teams, and that's what you expect from West Ham. And they're kind of back to where they want to be. But will it be enough at the end of the season? We will not know. But for Brentford, they're in kind of a position where they're looking to get Europe. They're lacking, and they might not have enough by the end of the season to get there. But they need a win tomorrow, otherwise it's going to look quite bleak for them, and they're really going to struggle with the amount of teams trying to get Europe at the minute. So I mean, I tip it more on West Ham. I think they have more of the momentum to go and win, and there's also a lot more on the line for them in terms of relegation and what could happen after relegation for them. And they seem to be playing really well at the moment. So I'd say more West Ham than Brentford, but there's always a chance for Brentford to get back into their form, and that could start in their game. But I just don't see it. I think West Ham have more of that that structure at the moment to win the game.
Okay, thank you very much. Barney, can I get your thoughts ahead of this game? You might be looking at Brentford, of course, as a London rival, be looking where they are in the table. But how do you view this game going? Home advantage for Brentford, could that be key? Because there are a few games now, as the boys have mentioned, without a win, but they could end up tomorrow.
Brentford have been an interesting sort of animal for me this season. I was impressed with them, in the earlier half of the season, but just recently they seem to have sort of tailed off a little bit, as the guys alluded to, a lot of draws, including one against ourselves. I think, quite an excessive number. And a lack of goals, certainly. That finesse has been missing from them. And they've got a good manager. And, they, by merit, they're up there challenging for Europe with a whole clutch of other clubs like Brighton, ourselves, and Bournemouth. But West Ham under Nuno have really, really impressed me. I think of all the sides down there, sorry, Harry, they have the most fight, the most kind of grit, the most togetherness, the most team spirit. I think they are, in my personal opinion, better suited for a relegation battle because they just know how to grind out results. They seem to sort of get those goals when it mattered, particularly against Everton. They just didn't give up. And that's what really impresses me about them. So I would have to, I won't give my prediction at the end, but I would have to give a narrow win to West Ham because I just think that had a bit more clinicality, is that the right word? Long word there, about them, and can find the net more frequently than Brentford have in recent games. And they've got players that, can do the damage to Brentford.
I do indeed. I think a lot of people agree with that. Barney, thank you very much. Matt, Wolves and Sunderland get there. And it feels a bit like Leeds and Burnley, doesn't it, in terms of a game with not too much importance. Of course, Sunderland want to put their absolute mare they had, ultimately at home against Forest. They lost 5. They lost by 5, conceded 5. Quite miserable for them. And again, Wolves, I just think it means more than people think, like to finish 19th rather than 20th and set you up for next season. But again, not too many people will be interested in this game. But do you back Wolves?
No, I don't. I back Sunderland here, and I think Sunderland will respond with fire, as Arteta would say. Sunderland are in a good position to achieve a top 10 finish. They just need to keep on grinding out these results and prove to their fan base and prove to the country world that last weekend was a farce in that it was a one-off. Because that was unacceptable from their point of view. They were at home and they got absolutely dismantled. I would imagine Sunderland are going to respond heavy here. I'm not going to reveal my score prediction, but I'm going for a heavy Sunderland win, basically. I just also want to touch upon the West Ham and the Brentford game just really quickly.
Of course.
I'm actually on the opinion that I think West Ham are going to struggle in this game, because I think the pressure's going to start to get to them. I think because in their last 3 games, they've had some good results, some very, very good results, and I think it might be where they slip a little bit. And yeah, that's just my opinion. Obviously, I'll reveal my score prediction at the end as well.
Yeah, save that to the end indeed. Matt, thank you very much. Before we move on to the next game, Cam, do you agree with Matt that Sunderland will be hungry to respond? Because not often do they concede very many goals in any match, but not often do they lose at home as well. So that would have been a big shock to them. They want to put it right, won't they?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a game where Sunderland need to put in a really good response, because I think that game against Forest, I mean, myself, I predicted 3-1 Sunderland. I thought Sunderland were going to win that game by a good margin, and they 4-0 down within, I think it was half an hour. Especially at home as well for Sunderland, that's unacceptable. And I think against the side that's at the bottom, they're already relegated, they have nothing to play for. I mean, Tottenham won there, for God's sake. If Sunderland can't win there, there's something definitely wrong with them. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a game where Sunderland definitely need to make things right with their fan base, and the team need to show that they can definitely win this game. And they need to as well, because they've not been great as of recently. I think in the first half of the season, they were much, much better. I think there was a point where, I think they were unbeaten at home in quite a while. I think the first half of the season, they were fully unbeaten at home. So, yeah, they haven't been as good as I thought they would in this end half to the season, but they're going to have to make things right. And if they can't beat Wolves, then there's definitely something wrong with them.
For sure. Totally agree with you on that. Thank you. Ollie, Newcastle then against Brighton. What do you think about this one? Newcastle also a team that need to bounce back. Quite a few poor results. I'd say Eddie Howe's under a little bit of pressure, as of course the players will be on the pitch. Brighton, on the other hand, flying.
Yeah, that seems to be going the way, and I don't know how it will pan out, because we've seen Brighton have these struggles as well, and there was points in the game where I did see that Brighton were kind of in that Newcastle kind of position that they are in now, where people were starting to get to Fabian Hersler and go, is he the man for the job? And it almost seemed like he wasn't, and then he started to turn things around. So you can see they kind of swapped places, because at the start of the season, Newcastle looked all right. And it'll be interesting to see whether actually Brighton are able to take advantage of the form that Newcastle are in or not. I know that the way that Newcastle are now, and I do wonder when they decide to get their form back, and when they can score some more goals, and they can, get things on the right track again. I think they need to before the season ends. Otherwise, they could be in a little bit of trouble. They obviously don't want to finish that low. So it'll be. I do think that Newcastle have an improved performance, because they need to. It's vital now. It's a bit of a do or die for them. Because they really need to get higher in the table than they are now. Otherwise, that's going to be quite a poor season for the squad that they have. And I know that it's not an amazing squad, with the amount of depth and once there's a couple of injuries, their side is a lot more diminished than some other sides. However, they really should be doing better for what they are. And I'm looking at a more positive performance. I think Brighton could potentially struggle a little bit more than they have in other games. But again, we'll see. I think it'll be interesting to see how Newcastle react to it.
Ollie, thank you very much. Barney, so Newcastle and Brighton, the game that we're talking about, I said to Ollie, and I'll say it again as well, that in terms of the form table, it's pretty much polar opposites. Newcastle in bad form, Brighton in very good form. So if you were to believe the form table, it would suggest that Brighton win, but Newcastle having that home advantage. So what are your thoughts on this game? And do you think it'll be at all, and I'm just asking this question, I don't necessarily believe it myself, but do you think it'll be on the mind of Newcastle that if they pick up no points, they could be in trouble, could be fine margins, that they just about stay up, they could be in a tiny bit of trouble if teams down the bottom continue to pick up points? And I saw Newcastle fans actually discuss it in the week. They're saying, we're actually worried we're going to pick up no more points, and what that mean actually that we could go down or not. Highly unlikely, I know. So for Newcastle, it feels like they need to get points before it gets really nervy at the end.
You're right. You're spot on. I have a couple of Newcastle friends who I've spoken to. I don't think they'll go down, but they will be looking over their shoulder for sure. Yes, 100%. 2 bad results and they're right down there, particularly if Spurs and West Ham pick up any consistent run of form, then they're really in trouble. Obviously, by their standards, they should be a lot higher. Let's be honest. They've got a terrific squad. Eddie Howe, for some reason, isn't getting the best out of the players, in my opinion. And they've had some just indifferent results. They've not been at it in games. They're just a bit lethargic at times. Brighton, I expected them to be up there challenging for Europe. Good manager, strong squad, defence, midfield attack. It's what you want, players who score goals, right? I think Brighton could edge this. I don't think Newcastle will go down, no, but they could certainly finish lower than what they are, and they could be drawn close to it. I still think it's between Spurs and West Ham, but no, they're not out of danger, of course not. But I still think Brighton will have enough about them, that quality, to get the goals they need anyway to see this game out, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much. Next game then, Arsenal and Fulham. Oh, interesting then. We're going to go to the host first. We've got both an Arsenal and Fulham fan on. We're going to go to the fan who hosting the game because he's at the Emirates. So we'll go to Matt as the Arsenal fan first. Matt, how are you feeling ahead of this one? You said you're feeling quite good. You said at the start, it's been a good week. How do you view this one then at home, London derby? Any possibility that the Arsenal do what they do best and slip up this time of year?
I don't think it's going to be a straightforward game at all. I think you're going to see a lot of players, especially in the Arsenal team, just not at it, because that's just what I'm expecting, after a grueling first leg of the semi-final in the Champions League, a result that happened that, should have been a different result, but I don't think I'm going to see much rotation, but I'm going to see a lot of... Liam, come on, let's be sensible now. We're not conceding 3 goals. We're not... If we're going to concede 3 goals, we're at least going to score a couple, right? Look, what I would like to see in this game is a very attacking team in Odegaard and Eze in the middle of the pitch. That's what I would like to see, and I'd like to see Martinelli, on the left-hand side. But I think I know what I'm going to see, which is Odegaard in the 10 and Eze off the left. I'm not, I'm not bothered by it. The more interesting question will be who starts at right wing. Saka's now 2 games returned. He's had about 45, 60 minutes, combined. Is he ready for a start, or, is he going to save that start for, the second leg, against Madrid? Who knows? But I'm going to, I'm going to go with a win, but the score prediction will be very interesting. Let's just say that.
We were going to say it there. No, it will be. We'll get to that at the end. Barney, then, talk to me about the Fulham perspective. Big win last time out against Villa. Can you build on that confidence?
I'm going to be very, very honest. 2 clean sheets in a row. Our problem is lack of goals. And I've been saying this to many fellow Fulham fans and friends for quite a while now. That's evident. Before the Villa game, we've been quite goal shy. For this particular game, I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be a game of how our wing backs are going to perform, if they can get forward and create chances. I know Ryan Sessegnon's out, so from what I've heard, Anthony Robertson will be at left back. Yes. Other than that, I expect Harry Wilson on the right, Chukwueze, Smith Rowe, and Raul Jimenez probably up front. Our back line, touchwood, has been really, really solid. As I said, 2 clean sheets in a row. Leno against Brentford, the back line against Aston Villa, really, really solid. We've always been really good at building up play from the back and building up moments of possession and chances. It's just that clinical edge in the final third that I've noticed all this season that's been lacking. And that's quite a worry when you've got obviously Raul Jimenez and Rodrigo Muniz, competing to start. I think it'll be a close game. I'll give my score prediction at the end of the show. But yeah, that's why I think it'll be one. It'll be based on who will defend better. That one chance that one side gets could be enough.
I do think it's going to be a good game as well because, as you said, you're quite good at building out from the back. So it will be interesting, with our high press, how we react to that, and how the game pans out. But I think this is going to be a good game regardless, to be honest.
Agree.
100% should be a good one. Next game then, Ollie, I'll come to you because it's Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Of course, you've been a Bournemouth fan. How are you feeling about this one? I'm beating you out in quite a long time. You're looking good, looking competitive. Can you win this one?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure because of Palace is just one of those teams you never know how they're going to come out, and they've got so many different options they can use for their lineups and things like that because they're in Europe as well, and they've got a bit of an extended squad. I don't know how they're going to come out and how they're going to obviously react to their win they had the other day. I think the positive thing that we have is the fact that they played on the Thursday. They might be quite knackered. They played in Poland as well. That is a massive advantage for us since that's only 3 or 4 days before this game kicks off. And also it depends on how we're going to really kick off. Obviously, the last game we had against Leeds was a bit of a whack in the teeth with that, last minute equaliser, which could have been prevented very easily. And also we could have been 3-1 up near the end of the game, which is just really frustrating. But I think for us, we need to make sure we can seal the deal and get the win, because any lost points is massive right now, and we need to make sure we can keep winning these games. Otherwise, we're not going to get Europe. Simple as that. I think, Barney's Fulham, if they win a game or two, that puts them a lot closer than us if we drop these points. And any point dropped is, as I say, very, very vital for us. So we need to win this game. But I just don't know how Palace are going to turn up in the way that they are. But I think I do see us at least drawing or winning. I don't see us losing this game. I think we're in too good of form to lose. Touch wood. But I am hopefully seeing us have a confident performance. As long as we, put 100% in, be clinical, defend well as we have been, we will win the game. Simple as that.
Ollie, thank you very much. Cam, Palace been struggling a little bit of late in the league in terms of not quite being able to get over the line. A couple of frustrated results. Often they played okay, in my opinion, to be honest. That's how I feel. But they're, of course, focusing on Europe. And while I think of it, a big win for them, wasn't it, away from home in Europe? Would you say now they're favoured to win the Conference League? Seem in a very good position at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think that's a big result for them. And of course, they're away at Shakhtar Donetsk as well. So they will have the home game as the second leg. So that's big for them in trying to get to the final. I think they'll be up against, I think it's Braga. I don't know if they're in the Conference League or not. I think it's Braga. I'm not too sure. But I think either way, them just reaching a European final. I think they've had a tough season as well in terms of dealing with with Europe as well, because I don't think at times they particularly had the squad to do so. Glasner as well, his future uncertain. I think he's leaving at the end of the season as well. So I think that's kind of in certain halves of the season, they've had to deal with that as well. The fans have had to deal with that, and they've not had the best of seasons. I think they definitely had a better season last season, that's for sure. But that's not done either, because if they win this final, then I think that'll make last season not better than this season, because I think if they win, then that'll definitely do them a lot of good, and that means they'll have Europa League football as well. So, yeah, but I think playing on Thursday as well, and then playing on Sunday straight after, it could definitely do them not too good up against a good Bournemouth side as well. They're away from home, and they've been very on and off in the Premier League as well. I think they've been much better in Europe. I think that's kind of what they're focused on as well. So it will be interesting to see what happens. I think, Bournemouth can't really be dropping any more points either if they want to be aiming for European football as well. I think it's definitely a game where they have to get 3 points. I think it was Leeds they dropped points against at home as well. So I was expecting them to win that game as well. And of course, that definitely dealt a blow. And when you've got teams like Fulham, as Ollie was saying, behind you, who have been in good form as well, and they're definitely a good side, it could definitely be very bad if they do drop points here, because I think this is definitely a favourable game for Bournemouth to win. And I do think they will win it. I don't think they'll lose in any way. I think they could definitely drop points with a draw, because I think Palace have definitely got that in them. But I'm expecting Bournemouth to most likely win narrowly, because I think they definitely have the quality to win. I think they've got some great players to do so, and they're at home at the end of the day. So I do expect Bournemouth to just edge it.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Do appreciate it. Again, reminder, stay with us. Score predictions are coming all at the end. We will progress. For now, Matt, coming to you. Do you think this is a game that would tempt your fancy, if you like, on Sunday? Man United and Liverpool, 3rd versus 4th. United just 3 points, I think it is, above Liverpool. So it's very, very tight. They're going to get Champions League football. But again, it's a case of, is it 3rd? Is it 4th? Is it 5th? Who do you fancy then in this one? United feel like a completely different side under Michael Carrick, and Liverpool got it together a little bit recently. But every time I've said that on this podcast, they've come crashing back down with a bad result. And they don't just lose, they get battered, really.
This game I'm really looking forward to for various reasons. Both teams are, form-wise, hold on, let me just check. Yeah, they are one of the top 3, top 5 most informed teams in the league if we're going off the past 3 games. And this game just feels to me that Bruno Fernandes is just going to break the assist record. It will be absolutely Man United way for Bruno Fernandes to just grab 1 or 2 assists in this game. And I think this game's going to be quite high scoring, because I think both teams are going to go for it, because they kind of know whatever happens, both teams are basically going to be in the Champions League next season. But what I think is going to be what is going to tickle the needle, if you like, is the fact that Liverpool are on 58 points, Man United are on 61 points, with the goal difference being +1 to Man United. So this game for both teams is a bragging rights type game. But if Liverpool can jump, above Man United, then it makes for a very good game. Yeah, I'm quite excited for this game, because I think it's going to be an absolute belter of a game. I don't think there's going to be that many goals, but close to that. Let's just say that.
Yeah, got a comment here. We won't give score predictions, but you're more than welcome to, everybody in the chat. Liam says he thinks it'll be United 3, Liverpool 5. Love it. A lot of goals. Reminds me a little bit of that. PSG and Bayern game. What a cracker that was, by the way. I could talk about that in a whole episode itself. It was that good and that action-packed. Ollie, coming to you again, are you going to be interested in this game? And without giving you a score prediction, who do you fancy in this one? Maybe United, do you fancy with the home advantage, or do you back slots Liverpool to, again, get a positive result?
Yeah, I actually think in the last few years, this is probably one of the most competitive United Liverpools there's been, to be honest, because usually, Man United have been a lot poorer than Liverpool have in the past few seasons. And I'm looking at this thinking, Liverpool are still in the race to get in that top 5 just about, and they need to get a win or 2 more and they'll be fine. But they need to, make sure they're picking up points. And for United, they're trying to finish their season off in a high, because obviously there's been a lot of things about United in the past few seasons where they haven't done good enough. And this is their best shot of having a really, really successful season as a whole under Carrick. But yeah, I think, as you say, I think home advantage will play a massive factor in it. I think, on paper, if you're looking at form and things like that, and calendar year, I would say United. But looking at Liverpool recently, they do look a little bit better. I think they're still a bit inconsistent, but they look better than they have been in previous times in this calendar year. I'm trusting that they look a bit more, they look a bit more clinical. I think they fix a few issues in defence, which they've had a lot this season, which might help them, especially at a ground like Old Trafford, where any mistake is pretty vital. And I do think with the way Liverpool play, I think they do favour the bigger pitches anyway. They don't like playing on small pitches because of the way they play. They use a lot of ground. The players have to run a lot. So it'll be good. It'll be good for them in that sense. But obviously the home advantage plays a lot. I do favour United more, and I didn't actually realise. I fact checked Matt because I didn't realise that Bruno Fernandes had 19 Premier League assists. I don't know. Has anyone had that higher in a season? Does anyone know?
So Mesut Ozil had 20, I believe.
That's nuts.
No,
20.
No. I think Mesut Ozil had 19. Thierry
So he
Henry
gets one.
had 20, and De Bruyne
Any non-Arsenal
had
players?
20. Kevin De Bruyne has had 20 or 21.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So Bruno Fernandes will be looking to break the record, as you say.
Yeah.
So
Basically,
I reckon
if
he'll
he
probably
gets a
get
penalty,
another assist.
Basically,
Yeah.
if he gets a penalty, you know what he's doing. He's doing the Henri Bergkamp thing where he just lays it off and then someone finishes it off. I just know that's coming if they get a penalty.
But
We'll have to see.
with Bruno in that mood right there, he's gonna look to get a goal or an assist or something like that. He's hungry for it, isn't he? And he's that type of guy that motivates. He looks in the mirror and he's like, I can do this, Bruno. And yeah, I reckon it's. I think United will edge it, but I think Liverpool will be up for it for sure.
For sure, there will be. I think you're right with that. Aston Villa then against Tottenham means a lot to both, but Villa pretty much, unless they completely collapse, unlikely are going to get Champions League football. It's just whether it's third, fourth, or fifth, like a bit. I was saying with United and Liverpool in the game before. Cam, I mean, you can back me up on this. We're just hoping that Villa almost roll over. They let us win. Put the under-21s out. It's not going to happen, of course. Let me just be clear. But if they could do that, because what I would say though, in all seriousness, and I would say to Villa fans as well. I don't know if you'll back me up, Cam, but they will remember winning a trophy a lot more than they'll remember finishing fifth place. In my honest view, I think that's got to be the priority for them. I hope it is the priority for them, but they've got the squad still to manage both. So yeah, talk to me your thoughts ahead of this game. Does that Wolves game as well give you more confidence that win? Also, Onana picking up an injury for Villa. How much does that affect them? So yeah, if you want to get into all of that.
Yeah, I think it's a massive game for both teams as well. I think that Villa, I can imagine them probably resting quite a few players. They obviously got Amadou Onana injured during the week as well. I think, I mean, they lost 1-0 to Forest yesterday as well. So they're at home in the second leg. Are they going to potentially want to rest players? They're most likely going to get Champions League football if Champions League places get, I think it's fifth who gets Champions League this season. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure they're in a good spot, and they should most likely be getting Champions League football next season, which means most likely they're going to have to prioritise the Europa League, of course. And, as you were saying, Harry, of course, Aston Villa, the Europa League would be massive for them because I don't think they've won a trophy in quite a while. They're on the rise and they've not been in the past 5-10 years, not particularly up there in the table. And now that they are, and now that they're in the Europa League, of course, winning this would be massive for them as well. So you can see why potentially they wouldn't prioritise the league as much. But for Tottenham, I think it's a massive game. It's a massive game. It all depends as well on if West Ham do drop points in that Brentford game. If they do drop points, let's say Brentford draw, Brentford lose, I think that could be massive for Tottenham in terms of winning this game. And I do think, I don't know why, it might just be my bias kicking in. I do feel like we have that power to win this game. I don't think we will, but I do think we have the ability to. I don't think Villa have been great recently. I think that they've been on all right form, but when I just look at them, even when they do win games, it doesn't feel like they do it that comfortably. It doesn't feel like it's always that comfortable. It feels like they're always leaving it late, or in general, they've always just been poor during the game. But we're at Villa Park. I think it's not a great place to go to in general either. And Villa, they've not been that bad this season. They're getting Champions League football. They're in the Europa League semi-finals. So it's going to be a hard game, that's for sure. And I think, and I'm just hoping as well that after that game against Wolves, we got the win, first win in 2026. I just hope that can kind of spur us on to potentially get a win against Villa. And as hard as it's going to be, every game's going to be hard in the Premier League. And I think if we can get a win here, that could definitely help us crucially in the relegation battle. Of course, as I was saying, if West Ham were to lose or to drop points, it would be massive for us, of course. And Forest play tomorrow against Chelsea. We'll get to that, of course, as well. So it's a massive game, of course. Onana picking up an injury yesterday as well. And I think that's big for us as well, because if Villa are going to rest players, it means that they might potentially have to rest even more crucial players as well. And Onana, I think he's a great midfielder as well. I don't know about you guys, but I think he's one of Villa's best players. I think Villa have got a great midfield as well. So, I mean, of course, that being damaged is massive for us. And I'm just hoping that Villa can rest all their players, because we do need a big win. And whilst I don't think we will win, I think it's a big game and we need to go out there and give it 110%.
Cam, thank you. I'm just going to have my very quick say on this. All I will say is Johan Lange, who left Aston Villa, was sacked, sorry, by Aston Villa to join Tottenham. Funny that since he's left Villa, they have now carried out something which is very important that every club have, and that is squad planning. And that squad planning has led to real squad depth. It's also led to competition in every position. Tottenham, on the other hand, where Johan Lange somehow has been appointed in a role that he's never been at before, squad planning is non-existent. There's no squad depth in any position. There's no competition in any position. So I just want to mention that with the two teams coming up against each other, we've hired somebody that hasn't got a clue. He's never been in this role before, and he was sacked by Aston Villa for consistent underperformance. Again, I will remind people on that. Barney, as a neutral on this, what I mean by that is neither supporting Aston Villa or Tottenham. How do you feel about this game? Tottenham without Xavi Simons, and it looks like Dominic Solanke, but Udogie is back. Villa haven't had the team update from them, but it looks like Onana will be unavailable for them. But they've also got still a lot of depth in midfield. Who do you fancy with this one? Villa losing in Europe. Also, how does that affect this game?
Yeah, Villa losing in Europe. Onana will be a big loss. Don't get me wrong. But they're up in where they are challenging for the Champions League on merit. On another day, from what I saw of them the other week, they could and should have possibly even won against us. They missed really, really gilt-edged chances, Watkins and Rodgers, the guilty parties. So they have quality all over the team, and they're rightly challenging for the Champions League. From a Spurs perspective, this where it gets interesting, because a win can breed so much confidence. I've been involved in a relegation battle 3 times with Fulham, and I've seen just what one win can do. And it can ignite the whole club. It can bring the fan base together. It can give the players a lift. Yeah, I know you're blighted with injuries. Probably the worst I've ever seen for a Tottenham side, unfortunately. But even in, adversity, if you like, and you're down there, it's not over. And I said this to you before, mate. One win can change it all, and that win against Wolves was huge. Make no mistake. And this Villa side can be got at. We proved it. You just had to press them. And if Spurs do their job correctly and play to their maximum strengths, I think you can certainly give them a game. That's for sure.
Barney, thank you very much. On to the next game then, Chelsea and
I just quickly
Nottingham
give my
Forest.
opinion on the Villa game.
Go for it.
Right, non-biased, okay.
Be kind.
Villa have played a very big game in the Europa League. It is Europa League, isn't it? It's not the Conference League.
Lost.
Yeah, exactly. It will be interesting to see how they play, because with Unai Emery, he don't give zero shites about rotation. He will play his best players even if it's in a useless game. But what will be interesting is how the players sort of react to that loss after being, one leg down essentially. I think that Tottenham are going to score, but it's going to be a couple of shots. They're not going to have many chances, because when you take out your chance creators in James Maddison, Kulusevski, and now Xavi Simons, where are you creating the chances from apart from corners or free kicks? So I can definitely see Tottenham scoring a goal. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to grab anything out of the game. Basically, is all I'm saying.
Actually, I think you're absolutely spot on with that, Matt, if I'm honest with you. Thank you very much. Can I stick with you, if you don't mind? Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. Big game at both ends of the table. Champions League all but over for Chelsea, but still huge chances of getting other forms of Europe, such as Conference League or Europa League. I think they'll be aiming for that. Forest fighting for their lives. If Forest get a result at Stamford Bridge, I mean, they're sitting from an incredible position of comfort, aren't they? Whatever happens this weekend. What do you reckon for this one?
Well, I'm Team Forest because I don't like Chelsea. And the amount of
Is that the real reason? Is that the real reason you're Team Forest?
Genuinely,
Sure.
yes. Because the amount of noise that Chelsea fans were making in November, December time when we drew 1-1 to them at their ground, they treated it like a win. So I am rooting for their downfall. I would love nothing but for them to lose in dramatic fashion at their own ground. After that amazing win, against Leeds United in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, they're not going to win that. Let's be honest. Man City are going to trump them. So with Chelsea, they're actually in a very, very dangerous position in being mid-table, because if they lose this game, and let's say Fulham, Brentford, Everton, and Sunderland, all win, then Chelsea go down to 12. They're going to have to 12th place, which is crazy. When you think about they were in a title race in December. But yeah, I don't know how this game is going to go. Forest got an incredible win, at Sunderland. I think they're going to be absolutely living on the moon, really, especially with that Europa League result. And maybe a bit of what's it called when they're overconfident. I can't remember the word, but complacent.
Cocky.
Okay. Maybe they get a bit complacent, but I can't see it personally, and I think Morgan Gibbs-White is going to have a stellar of a game.
I have to see. Time will tell. Thank you very much, Cam. I mean, what do you want in this game as a Spurs fan? Doesn't feel right, I'm sure, for you. Doesn't feel right for me anyway. Cheering on Chelsea, but with Nottingham Forest, there is still a big chance. I personally believe, I'm just going to put it out here, it could come back to haunt me. And I'm not going to say who's going to stay, who's going to stay down, but I don't think this is decided by 37, 38 points. I think we're talking 42, 43. I think it's going to get that high. I honestly think we've got to the stage of the season. It means so much. And we've got, 4 games remaining? I think all the teams down the bottom are going to be winning at least 2, if I'm honest with you. I don't think people going, where's this one win going to come from for all these teams? So the reason I asked that is if Forest, in my view, to pick up no more points than they're down. It's as simple as that, even though they're in a comfortable position now. So what do you want out of this game? Are you going to say that you want Chelsea to win? Does that sit right with you?
I mean, this is tough because I don't like both teams. I mean, I'll probably want a draw if anything, but then even then, that doesn't really help Forest. But then at least it means Chelsea didn't win. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult because I can't deal with Chelsea fans whenever they win a game. They're so arrogant, man. Like, I wish for that downfall as well. I don't like them. I genuinely don't. And they're playing Forest. But then if Forest win, then that means that they're more than likely safe. They're in a good position. They might still be in it, but they're all but likely safe. So yeah, it's difficult. But I mean, from a Tottenham point of view, I'd more likely want a draw in this game because I think it doesn't really help Chelsea either, particularly if the teams around them win their games as well. And I think Sunderland, they've got Wolves, Everton, they've got we'll get onto that. They've got Man City, but the teams around them, if they do win their games, then Chelsea could definitely be in trouble. And I'd want a draw out of this because I don't want Chelsea to win and I don't want Forest to win.
Fair enough. I appreciate your honesty, Cam. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, really, and I wouldn't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's all about opinions, ultimately, at the end of the day. But however, all these games, and I think all of us can relate, only us can do our job. I think Matt can relate. It's down to Arsenal. Ultimately, they've got to do their job. And while, of course, he'd be hoping that Man City slip up, you can only control what you can do, if that makes sense. So I think the priority for all of us is let's make sure our club does a job, and then we'll worry about others. And I think in Tottenham point of view, it's quite sad we got to the state where we're having to go, all these teams down the bottom that we need them to slip up. But
can we also just mention the fact that Chelsea are the worst informed team in the league right now with 5 losses in a row?
Scary, isn't it?
Wolves have picked up 4 points. Tottenham have picked up 5 points. Newcastle, who have absolutely fallen off a cliff, have picked up 3 points.
Where have we picked up 5 points from?
Absolute so much trouble.
Tottenham picked up 5 points, did you say? Where
Yeah.
happened? Really?
Yeah, you got a draw in the
Wolves.
You got a draw in the first of the 5 games, and then you got a draw against. Who did you get a draw against recently?
I think it was Brighton and Liverpool, wasn't it? Brighton and Liverpool.
Brighton, yeah.
Them.
And then obviously you beat Wolves.
Oh, fair enough. I'll take that. It's a positive. It makes a change. I mean, I know we're at the bottom of most other things, so I'll take that at this point. But no, you're absolutely right to say that. I mean, look no further, right? What sums up Chelsea is a shambles. Rafinha, what is it, 5.5, 6.5 year deal when he's gone within 4 months? Absolutely crazy. And Brighton are pretty much top of the form table. I say that Chelsea right at the bottom, and that was actually the opposite when Liam Rafinha first came to the club. That first couple of games. So how the tables turn, literally in the Premier League, is never over for sure. And by the way, I'll just add that Chelsea Forest game is 3 p.m. on Monday. What a weird time, I know.
What?
It is bank holiday Monday. I know. 3 p.m.
Oh, right.
Absolutely crazy.
Okay, that's why.
Bank holiday.
I was like,
I looked at
it
it and
didn't make any sense to me.
No, it didn't me either when I first looked at it. Even though I said to myself before it was bank holiday. Didn't sit right. Didn't kick in eventually. But yeah, that's at 3 p.m. And this is at 8 p.m. Everton and Man City. So we've got a double game on Monday with a little gap in between as well. I love this. So Everton and Man City. Ollie, what are you thinking ahead of this game? And I think there'll be a lot of eyes on this one, particularly for the title race. Of course, the European fight as well. Is there a possibility that City slip up in this?
I wouldn't count on it. I think City, with the way they're playing at the minute, I don't see much stopping them. And I'm looking at Everton thinking I'm not sure if they're up for it at the minute with the performance against West Ham. It was okay, but they weren't able to score the goals that they should have done, and they need to do that against Man City, otherwise they're going to lose. That is as simple as it is. But I do know that Everton do typically play well against some of the bigger sides. I believe they actually drew against Man City early on in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. And they picked up a few good results against the better teams, and particularly the more informed teams as well, which has been the highlight of Everton's season. So that is one positive looking into the game for particularly Matt Arsenal fans. And I am seeing that we've noticed Man City have had one of those seasons where they've really dropped off at points in the season. That can happen at any time, and even when they're winning a few games, sometimes they do have an off game, and they haven't been as clinical as we know the Man City that they are, where they are clinical and they score goals just like from anything. And this season that hasn't really quite been the case, which I think might play into Everton's advantage. And we all know that Everton, again under David Moyes likes to get the job done. He likes to be solid in defence, and that might be that advantage because they can go and counter attack against Man City. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes, because Everton are in a position where they need to win games. It's still very important for them. They're not in, it doesn't mean nothing for them. And Man City are also under pressure. But Man City need to be more clinical. In previous games, they haven't been. And Everton need to be tight in defence. But I do see Man City winning the game, albeit quite tight.
I'd quite like to disagree with you in that. With Everton, yes, it's not a throwaway game in that they've got nothing to play for. But I was actually looking at the league table, and they're not in a bad position at all. Because when you look at the league table from 6th to where they are, there's 3-point gap, and in their past 3 games, they've only picked up 1 point, and they're still within 1 win, of being 6th, basically. And I kind of think that, look, personally, I don't think Everton will get anything from this game. If Man City are likely to slip up, it will be against Bournemouth, in my opinion, because I think them going to that stadium will be hard for them. But I also think that it kind of depends on what Arsenal do, in that I think if we start battering teams, that might not worry City, but that might start to make City become a bit shaky. But if we're just getting wins by scraping wins, I think that they'll pick that up, and they'll pick momentum up, and they'll just keep, winning games. But it is going to be a very interesting game. Like you said, Everton do turn up against big teams, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to stop Man City.
Man City, though, I don't think they'll feel pressure depending on Arsenal. Like, they've been in this situation against Arsenal many times, and I don't think they felt the pressure.
But I don't think that this team is the same type of team in terms of ruthlessness.
I think the biggest problem is themselves. I don't think it's Arsenal.
Because they've got a lot of technical ability. They've probably got one of the most technical squads I think I've ever seen in my Premier League lifetime.
Yeah.
But what I think is the worry for Man City is actually defending the goals. I don't think that they do that good of a job at keeping the goals out.
Matt, would you agree with me? And I don't mean this from oh my God, Arsenal are in this kind of position, you're going to throw it away. I don't mean it like that at all, just to be clear. But do you think that at the moment you are in kind of a better position because you also played before City this weekend and you've got the points on the board? I just feel at this stage, if I'm being honest with you, I think you're a lot better to have points on the board than games in hand. So that's why, if I'm being honest with you, I actually do back you to get over the line and get the job done. That's something I've tried to say throughout the season. We'll laugh and joke about it now, but I think you're in a position now where you've got the points on the board, and it's kind of, I'm not saying it's in your hands, but I know City have been here, done it, tried and tested, professional, thorough. That's everything about Pep Guardiola's Man City side. But do you feel like it's key that you also play before them this weekend, 2 games ahead?
I don't actually see this weekend being like title defining. I think it's going to be when we play Burnley and when Man City play Bournemouth. I think that's going to be the defining weekend, because sort of everyone will expect Arsenal to pick up 3 points. And I think Bournemouth are going to give Man City a good go. And it kind of depends where Bournemouth are, in a couple of weeks' time.
We'll need to win it. It won't be...
where you are right now, though, you're in a really good position to... get European
Say if we
football,
lost,
because I think you need 2 wins basically.
If we lost against Palace, I think.
Yes.
Do we play Fulham before we play Man City?
I will double check.
I think that's May. I think the Fulham Bournemouth game is May the 9th.
So you play Palace on Sunday, and then you play Fulham on the 9th of May, and then you play Man City. I
think if we lost both or drew both, I think it wouldn't mean a lot against our game against Man City. But if we kept winning, 1, we'd have momentum, and 2, we'd be looking to get 3 more points, because we'd need that to get Europe. Because the amount of teams near us, Everton, Fulham, Brentford, they're looking to take our place. Chelsea as well. Add Chelsea to that now. Chelsea are in that fight, but I think we could give them a good game in that one. I think that one would be good to look at. Would be mad if Michael Jackson pulled a miracle, though, wouldn't it?
I still can't believe that's actually.
Do you know what?
Thriller man.
How fitting would it be for the Premier League as a whole? Yeah, Michael Jackson with his Burnley side, they beat Arsenal, and they're the ones to kind of destroy Arsenal's title hopes.
They'll be moonwalking backwards. Oh my god!
Love that, yeah, moonwalking back to
To
the
be
dressing
fair,
room.
Matt, you would not be hearing the end of it if Michael Jackson made you
It's
bottom
written in the
No.
right.
stars. You know what I mean? I'm
It
actually
is, isn't it?
expecting it now.
And it's going to be so jammy in it, added time or an own goal, or
yeah,
it's gonna
I'm
be proper
absolutely
fluke.
expecting it. But
Do you know
what I would
That's
say
so
is
true.
it's at the Emirates. If it was at Burnley, I think that is very likely. But it being at the Emirates, I just can't see that personally. But just quickly going back to Man City, I think, and this might be an absolutely crazy take, right? But I don't rate Donnarumma. James Trafford is a better all-round keeper than Donnarumma.
You
The
don't
only
need the
thing that
first
he
bit.
has over Trafford is shot stopping. It's sort of the same debate like I kind of have with Man City fans about Raya and their number one keeper, in that Raya I prefer because he's a better all-round goalkeeper. The only thing that Donnarumma has over Raya is shot stopping, because he's absolutely incredibly tall and he's very, very good at shot stopping. It's the same conversation I have with James Trafford personally.
Do you want a hot take?
Yeah.
I really like David Raya, but I believe both City's keepers I'd have over David Raya. being
Wow.
honest with
Is it because he rejected you? Is that why?
you.
3 years
No.
ago he rejected you. Is that why?
No, to make clear, I had Raya over all Tottenham goalkeepers
Yeah,
combined, and I like Kinski at the moment, but to be very clear about it, I get your point totally.
So
with
you
Trafford,
would have
and he's
Raya
more
over
agile.
Trafford and Donnarumma?
I'd have Trafford over
Yeah.
Raya.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, the other way
Donnarumma over Raya. Yeah,
That is
I would.
absolutely
And I rate
wild.
Raya, by the way, and I had this conversation with an Arsenal fan that you won't even believe me on this, honestly, today, and he's going, not for me, we can do, I like him, but we can do better in the summer. I rank him up there with the very best, but I think
Yeah, we
Trafford
can
and
do
Donnarumma
better
are so
than
good.
Raya.
I just think he has a mistake
We
in him,
wanted
whereas I look
Juan
at Trafford,
Garcia, who's at Barcelona. He was our number one, essentially.
I just think, like, out of 10 occasions, I think Raya makes a mistake in one of them. I think Donnarumma makes 1 in 20. I think Trafford's even maybe even bigger than that, which I'll take your point on that as well. I just think when it comes to mistake, Raya just got a little mistake in him, but he makes up for that for an incredible save as well. So
Yeah,
he does. It
that's
flips around.
interesting.
It's really tight. I'll just
Fair
say
enough.
it's really tight, and I don't try and say it from a biased point of view, because I think Raya's fantastic and he's a great goalkeeper, absolutely worth what you paid for him. We should have paid the same and everything like that. But let's get into the score predictions. So the rules are this then. You're allowed, I'm not going to time you, but about 15 seconds to give you a score prediction and anything that you're busting to say about it. If you want to justify your score prediction, about 15 seconds also to do so. Cam, let's start with you. Leeds and Burnley, first game. We're going to go around the whole panel for this. Score prediction.
I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds.
2-0 Leeds. Barney.
I'm going to go with, excuse me, I'm going to go with 2-1 Leeds.
Okay, thank you. Ollie?
2-0 Leeds.
Matt?
2-0 Leeds.
Okay, thank you very much. When your club comes up, feel free to exercise those 15 seconds also to add in what you like or not. I'm just trialing this now. So Brentford and West Ham, I'm going to predict there's going to be a little bit of a split across the panel on this one. Not dramatic, but I think you're going to have a couple of different outcomes in terms of who's going to win, if anyone at all. Reverse order, Matt, Brentford, West Ham score?
I think it's going to be 0-0.
Okay, there you go. It's going to be a real split, I think, on this one. Ollie?
3-2 to West Ham.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, that'd be huge, by the way, for them. That's not what we want. That's not what Cam wants, for sure. Not what I want either. Barney?
1-0 West Ham.
Okay. Cam?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Oh, nobody's back in Brentford. It just shows you what things change really quickly in football. Before, Brentford at home was just a guaranteed win for them at one point.
What was your
Wolves
prediction, Harry?
No. Oh, no. Try and dodge this. What do I think? I think Brentford win 3-2, but a lot of it is my kind of heart saying that, if I'm honest with you. I think it's going to be really, really tight. I don't think Brentford are going to win in a position of comfort. I just think Brentford will respond. I think they're going to play well. I think it'll be a great game. 3-2 Brentford, if I had to predict. So I'll join along with you. I'll give the score predictions. I'll go 2-0 Leeds as well in that previous one. Wolves and Sunderland. Ollie, kick us off with this one.
1-0 Wolves.
Okay, I think Wolves win as well. 2-0 Wolves. Matt?
I think this is going to be 4-1 Sunderland.
There's the split. Barney?
I think this is going to be 1-1.
Okay, sitting on the fence with that one. Cam?
I'm going 3-1 Sunderland.
Okay, back in Sunderland as well. Newcastle and Brighton. Cam, I'll start with you.
I think there's going to be goals in this. I'm going to go 3-2 Brighton.
Okay, Barney?
I think there'll be goals too. I'm going 2-0 Brighton.
I'm going 4-3 Brighton. I think this is going to be a real interesting game. I think Newcastle are going to turn up the temperature. I think they're just going to go for it, really. And I think they, unfortunately for them, concede a lot of goals and be literally outscored 4-3 for Brighton. I'm going, thank you. Ollie?
2-2.
Okay. Matt?
I wasn't impressed with Newcastle last weekend. I think that Brighton are going to solidify their European places, and I reckon that they're going to win 2-1.
Okay, thank you very much. I will stick with you, of course. Arsenal and Fulham. Here we go.
I
Here
think
we
this will
go.
be 1-0 Arsenal.
1-0 Arsenal. Okay.
I knew he was going to
Barney?
do that as well, by the way. I knew he was going to do
What do you mean you knew I was going to do that?
No, I know what you like, man. I know what you like. That's what I'm saying.
Go for it, Barney. Be honest.
Play towards strengths. Good defence. 1-1.
Okay, 1-1. And would you take a draw,
Yes.
Barney?
Yes.
You would. Okay.
I wouldn't.
Cam? No, you wouldn't. I wanted to ask.
I'm going 1-1 as well, you know. I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like Fulham have something in them.
I
Okay,
don't know
I'll be
why
honest.
That's
equals
my bias.
your
That's my
copy,
bias
and
definitely
that's
kicking
why.
in, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a little bit worried about this weekend about a lot of things in terms of what I want to happen. I don't think it's to be anywhere near what I want at all. I think 2-1 Arsenal. I think they just battered it in this one. Ollie?
2-1 to Arsenal.
Okay, sticking with you. Your beloved Bournemouth take on Crystal Palace.
I'm going to say 2-0 Bournemouth. I don't even know if I think that's what it is. I'm just going to go positive because I want to be positive. So 2-0.
I think Palace are going to be very tired from playing in Europe. I'm feeling bold today. It's half out all day. So I'm going to go with the
And
big
I just
scoreline.
don't want us to concede to Mateta again. So that's why I'm saying it. Because I know if they score, it's going to be Mateta. So I don't want to score any goals. Thank you.
You'll be shocked by my prediction, but I think Bournemouth are going to have a field day in attack, a real field day, and I just think Palace won't be at it. The focus is on Europe, 5-0. I'm thinking to Bournemouth. That's what I'm going to go with. I think it'll be a complete walk in the path. I mean, you'd love that, wouldn't you? To win 5-0
for a
out of
goal
your face.
difference.
It will do. I think that's what's going to happen. Palace's eyes are elsewhere. Your eyes are in one place. Matt.
That's true.
I think this is going to be 3-1 Bournemouth.
Okay. Barney.
3-0 Bournemouth.
Okay, you've been bold as well. Cam.
4-1 Bournemouth.
Okay. United and Liverpool. I'll kick us off. I'm not sure what I think about this one. I'm going to sit on the fence because I'm undecided. 1-1. Cam?
I think United are going to edge it 3-2. I think there will be goals in this as well. I think it'll be really close, but I do think they'll just edge it. Like, I feel like some Bruno magic will come out of nowhere or something. I don't know. I feel like they'll do something
Inevitable.
to it. Yeah.
You're back in. Michael Carrick's Red Devils. Cam, thank you very much. Barney, who are you back in? Honest slot, Michael Carrick, United, Liverpool.
I agree with Cam. Some Man U magic, so I'm going for 3-1 Man U.
Okay, both back in Man United. Here we go then. Ollie, what are we saying?
Yeah, I like your prediction. I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm unsure. It's a tough one to predict, this one. It's one of those that I think it's going to be tight either way. Matt?
I'm going 4-3 Man United and Bruno Fernandes to break the assist record on that game.
That's actually
enough.
not a
I
bad
don't see-
prediction at all, you know. That's not
It's not,
bad.
actually.
Like,
I can
that's-
see that many goals happening. I just can.
Okay. Aston Villa and Tottenham. Cam, honesty. What do you think?
Oh man. I don't know, you know. I don't know. Do I let my bias kick in? I don't know. It's difficult.
Well, you
one to
predicted
call.
West Ham to get a point, didn't you? So that
yeah,
means
I
really
did,
Tottenham have
I
to get
did.
something, otherwise they're 3 points behind.
Yeah, I'm thinking either 1-1 or 2-2, but I don't know if we have 2 goals in us. So I'm gonna go 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-2. I think Villa will still put out a strong team. So I'm going to back the draw. Would you take a draw, actually? I'll ask you that, Cam. I mean, you can't really be taking draws in our position, but Villa are a strong side.
Yeah, I think I'd probably have to take it with how we've been, to be fair. So, and yeah, they're not particularly a bad side either. So, yeah, I guess you kind of have to. You can't complain with it.
I think this weekend's do or die for Tottenham. I'll just add that. That's how I feel. I'm not saying it's going to be mathematically over, but I think it's just absolutely huge. Barney, what do you think?
I still think West Ham hold the cards in driving the relegation number, but I've got a funny feeling about this game. Draw 1-1.
Okay, thank you. Ollie?
2-1 Tottenham.
Oh,
Woohoo.
really? Can I
Villa
answer
are
what you think
pangs,
that?
man.
Please.
Villa are awful. They've been absolutely woeful recently.
So void.
They will
you know
not beat
what?
Tottenham.
Back-to-back wins for a club that have waited 118 days to get their first win in the Premier League.
To be fair, that
don't
would be
lose
very
the next
Tottenham-like.
game.
That'd be very Tottenham-like.
I mean, let's pretend this, even if it wasn't Tottenham, right? Whoever that is, that's got to be huge at this stage of the season for confidence. Especially you've got players out, you can go, we can do it without them. You know, take all our players, we can still do it. I just think that's huge. And I just think that confidence alone could be huge because, don't get me wrong, you gain confidence after Wolves. But if you're going to be quite negative, some players may be in the dressing room, it took us 83 minutes to score against the team at the bottom of the league and relegated. That's what you'd say if you're negative, not being funny. It's not the way that I look at it. That's how some people will look at it. Ollie, you're just giving your prediction. Matt, I don't think you have.
I've got 2 predictions. Can I say why?
You have to decide one, though, but you can give 2 for now.
Right. Okay, so my first prediction was 2-1 Tottenham, and it's only if you start an actual winger.
We got anyone?
So if you start Thompson, who's an academy player, I think you're going to win 2-1. If you don't, and you play a front 3 of Mawani, Tell, and Richarlison, I think you're losing 3-1.
That big of a swing?
Yeah, because I think that I don't see any. Those front 3, they're all shite apart from Richarlison in that this season, right? This season,
even Richarlison
has actually been quite good for you, but the other 2, I just see as useless. I don't see what they bring to Tottenham personally.
I think Tell's been okay. He's been all right in glimpses.
Tell's been underused then.
But that's the thing, right? Let's pretend it is Mawani, Richarlison, and Tell. Who do you start then? Because I'd argue that all 3 can play in all 3 positions. That's a headache in itself. I mean, Mawani, I'd rather play with 10 men sometimes than him at right wing. So do you put him as a striker?
Well, I would
start
start Thompson
Richie on the right
because he's a proper right winger. He's youthful, so he's going to have 0 fear.
No disrespect to him, but that's the situation we've got to where you're going, who's ready, below in the youth academy at this stage is a bit like, really? No.
I hear that, but what else?
It's how we fall in performance as well as injuries. It's both.
What else have you got to lose?
Do you know what I'll say though? Actually, is that if we're going to play Thompson over Mawani at right wing, it feels like we might have like a breath of fresh air, which we kind of might.
Do you know what? Matt's made an excellent point. To be fair, not bad for an Arsenal fan.
Because I can't lie, Mawani at right wing frustrates me so much.
But
genuinely,
I'm going to stick with my second prediction because we all know what front 3's going to be played. So judging by that, I am going with 3-1 Aston Villa.
Do you know what? That's fair enough. I actually respect you quite a lot for that. Thank you. Chelsea and Forest reverse order. Then Matt, what are we saying? Kick us off, my friend.
Look, this is out of pure hate to Chelsea. 3-0 Forest.
No.
3-0 Forest. Chelsea ain't getting a goal.
What?
I want Chelsea to go down to 12. They absolutely deserve it for giving Rosinha a 6-year deal and then sacking him within 4 months. It's so deserved.
If it weren't for Tottenham, they'd be the biggest laughing stock of the league, wouldn't they? Let's be honest about it. Tottenham were dancing with Peppa Pig.
as of right now, I actually think that they are the biggest laughing stock as of right now, because I kind of think everyone
Well,
has.
have you seen this week though? Tottenham doing collaborations with Peppa Pig. We're factually about to go
yeah,
down.
fair enough, but
Peppa Pig's on the pitch. I know we're running out of players and tools, but come on, that's desperation.
fair enough. But in terms of on the pitch, I feel like a lot of
Their
people
PR's
have kind
better,
of
is what I mean.
resigned to Tottenham going down. So if Tottenham do go down, I don't feel like it's going to be a massive shock to everyone, because I kind of feel like it's kind of waiting to happen in a way. But if Chelsea get battered by Forest, I think everyone would absolutely enjoy that, personally.
I'm going 1-1. 1-1 in this one. I think Forest may take that, but there's a huge possibility. You're right. You just don't know. This is football we're talking about. Forest have got it in them. We've seen it of late. Matt, thank you. Ollie, what we saying? Chelsea, Forest.
I'm gonna go 2-1 to Forest.
And you'll want
Too
Forest to win, I
rubbish
assume,
as
as well. With Chelsea in the
Yeah,
round.
Forest 2-1. Yeah.
Mm.
I think Chelsea are just rubbish, to be honest. I'm watching them thinking recently they've just been absolutely, like, even against Leeds in the FA Cup, they
weren't even
weren't very
good.
good. Like, yeah,
you know
they
what?
won. Brilliant. They got away with it, but they weren't good.
They're going to get battered by Man City, and we all know it.
I don't think anybody, and I could be wrong about this, but I don't think anybody's picked up on something. Guess who's not here? Who was the biggest Liam Rosenior supporter, was on when things are going pretty, but is yet to be seen when things turn sour. Louis,
Who's that?
regular on the podcast. Where's he gone? A big defender.
To be
of
fair,
Liam
I
Rosenior.
supported
He's very
Louis
busy.
who? Louis who?
It comes on this
Louis
podcast.
Van.
West Ham fan. Yeah,
West Ham
regular.
fan.
Oh, okay.
I know he's not connected to
Oh, I
Chelsea, but he
remember
was a
that. I
big
remember
Rosenior-
that.
Do you
I
remember?
remember one of the
Very
weeks he
big
was
Rosenior
gassing up
supporter.
Rosenior against
Huge.
Arsenal.
Loved him. He loved him a lot. He said, what did he say? Best manager in, what did he say, generation? I can't remember exactly the terminology that he used.
I
but
didn't say that,
big
but I
Rosenior
supported the guy. He was a decent manager, but Chelsea aren't the place that Chelsea isn't the team for him, because he needs time, and Chelsea do not give time.
He's got
He's respecting the
potential
ball.
to be a very good manager.
Yeah,
In terms of right now, I don't even think he's Premier League level quality.
it was a premature appointment, wasn't it, for him?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I never got the argument that he done well at Strasbourg. I don't
I
personally
never
buy
got the
that.
argument of giving him
I
a
don't get it.
6-year deal.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
Like,
that's
I mean,
Chelsea
Gary
too.
O'Neill's
What did he
doing
do?
well at Strasbourg, so that says
He
enough about
is.
Strasbourg, really.
Chelsea is
Well, to be
stupid with
fair,
contracts and money.
Gary O'Neill
Chelsea
to
spend a lot.
Chelsea. Here we go.
Chelsea throw a lot
Oh,
more
that'd
money
be a
away.
disaster.
But Tottenham are incompetent upstairs. That's the thing. Tottenham have no idea. They're out of touch, like the Peppa Pig, and they've got absolutely no idea. Chelsea, I think, have an idea, but they're just stupid with money. No sense of money. That's how I feel with this one.
Yeah.
Right, I've completely lost track. Who hasn't given their predictions for Chelsea and Forest? I'll be honest.
I have.
Right, Barney, go for it.
Forest riding the crest of a wave. They've had a really impressive April. Chelsea just at 6s and 7s, quite frankly. Remember, I don't know what kind of team or club they actually have an identity that's lacking. So I actually fancy Forest here 2-1.
2-1. Thank you. Cam, as well. I don't think you're giving yours.
Oh my days. I'm stuck between two.
Stuff in it. Carl, we're in a tough position with this one.
2-1 Forest. 2-1 Forest. I don't know why. I just feel like, I mean, either way, even if they win, I get to laugh at Chelsea. That's all that matters for me.
Absolutely. I just think from a Tottenham point of view, just in massive trouble this weekend, because there's a huge possibility that both West Ham and Forest get a result. Leeds as well. So Tottenham could be down and out if they fail to win, really, or in a horrible, horrible position. Final game then. Did I give my prediction for Chelsea and Forest? I can't remember what. No, I did, didn't I? I said 1-1. Everton and Man City. Ollie's gone again. Connection issues. He'll be back. Everton and City. I think there's going to be a slip up. 0-0. Goalless draw. I'm going to predict in that one. Matt, there you go. Prove there can be unbiased. What's your score prediction?
I just can't see. I can't see Everton keeping out Man City personally. I think it's going to be 3-1 Man City.
Barney?
I actually wrote down the same score. I can't see City not winning this game, so I've gone 3-1 City.
Thank you very much, Cam. What are we saying?
I'm going 2-0 City. I think it won't be too comfortable. I think they'll get it done, particularly late on, but I think they'll get a job done.
Okay, thank you very much. Ollie hasn't returned yet, so we'll wrap up and we'll get his prediction if/when he comes back in, rather than waiting, and he might not come back depending on connection issues. But that does wrap us up for now for this episode of Scarfey Talks Premier League. Get it right, Harry, this time. Game week 35 preview complete. Thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in and has listened. We're looking to really push this podcast throughout the summer. You'll be thinking, Harry, there's no Premier League football, but you got the transfer window. There's always action when it comes to transfer window. And even just currently on the X page, we cover, I don't know how, to be honest with you, but we find a way to cover Premier League news for every single Premier League club on a daily basis on both X, Instagram, and of course YouTube posts as well. So a lot going at the moment. Do check it out. And also be daily news videos on YouTube like we do with the Spurs channel in the summer. So a lot coming. It's going to grow the project in the summer. I'm going to really, get a lot of things done in the summer. So thank you to everyone very, very much. And we got Ollie here, I believe, to get his prediction in for Everton and City, if he can hear us.
Man City 2, Everton 1.
Okay, you're back in Man City. Thank you very, very much. Let's go through and see where you can find all my guests on social media. Ollie, I'll start with you in case you have a connection issue. Where can people follow you on socials, personally and also simply FCB?
Yeah, so simply FCB can be found on my Twitter. I'm always active on Twitter on some of my accounts, actually. You can either follow that or Ollie Gatesy, my name, and then just Gatesy at the end. Thank you very much for having me on. Sorry, this has been a nightmare for my internet today. It's absolute nightmare today. I'm not having it. And then my laptop wouldn't let me in. So it's gone from bad to worse. But I'm glad to be getting on my phone and finishing it off just at the end. Typical, it doesn't do it after, but there we go. But thank you once again.
Too easy.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Pleasure's mine and the pleasure's ours. Ollie, thank you very, very much. Matt, really appreciate you coming on. Where can people follow you on the socials? I think you show it on the screen there.
On Twitter here. Is it upside down?
No, it's the right way around, but it's hard to see if I'm honest with you. So if you can read it out, that'd be amazing.
All right, it is AFC Matex 2 X's on Twitter.
Great stuff.
I tried.
No, I might be able to see it, but I'm just thinking, I may have to go like that, squint my eyes. So just to be sure, Matt, thank you very, very much. I want people to go to the right place to support you. Barney, thank you very much for coming on. Where can people follow you? And I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in Spain as well. Super, super jealous.
Thank you, Harry, and a pleasure to be part of your amazing podcast and to talk to all you amazing guys. You can find me on X, Ambrose Barnaby, and I'm very active on TikTok, Barney FFC. And thank you again, Harry.
No worries, thank you. I look forward to having you on this podcast a lot more and also doing some autism stuff as well with you away from the podcast, which is very, very important. If we step away from football, Barney, thank you very much. And to reiterate, the pleasure again is ours. Thank you very, very much. Cam, thank you so much for coming on as well. And not the easy circumstances of Spurs, for like I say, the same every week, but it's just carbon copy of that bit instead of me wasting a breath here. But where can people follow you on the socials, my friend?
Yeah, glad to be back on again, of course. It's been a great panel as well. Great episode, of course, as always. You can find me there, X page, HFC_Cam. I've been away as well, so not had much time in terms of making content on YouTube as well. I'm going to have stuff out soon, I promise. But yeah, you can follow me there, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to him on YouTube. It's called Cam Talks Football. And yeah.
Thank you, Cam, and thank you all. Done in perfect time in 11 seconds before game week 35 kicks off. Look at that. I'm happy with that. Thank you very much. Wish your team all the best, within reason, of course, in game week 35.